Hey guys, as always, a big good-joo to each of y'all. Thanks for stopping by. Today I want to share with you what I believe is going to be one of the nails in the coffin of the Republic. It's a big one. It's titanic in size, and we are being force-fed it every day. It is going to affect us and our children. I don't know if we can stop it, but I am going to have a question for you at the end, and I want to hear what your opinion is on it. Couple things to start with. Number one, no sponsors for today's episode. I'm not subjecting those sweet, wonderful sponsors to any of the stuff they're going to receive in emails for sponsoring this video. So no sponsors. Number two, this is going to be incomplete. 3 weeks ago, I did a video where I covered the entire Revolutionary War in 3 sentences. I got in a nasty email saying, Johnny, thanks for nothing. You left out that the French were a part of the Revolutionary War. Imagine that, champ, that I left a little bit out when I covered an entire 20-year period in 3 sentences. Today's video is going to be incomplete, but that is part of this process. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about today about the biggest scam that we are facing. It begins 25 years ago, and there's some other roots in there, but oversimplification. 25 years ago, we had a massive undertaking to move. We got problems in this world. Well, where are they coming from? Well, a lot of them are created by corporations, and that just is the way it is. Put a pin in that moment right there. I said the corporations. Remember that in just a moment. We have this massive problem, a lot of things going on. Where's it coming from? Where are the problems? How do we solve this stuff? And the shift in the late 90s, and it was gargantuan in size, moved from the corporations to all problems come from the individual. And today we have armies of teachers and armies of people, both corporate and in a lot of smaller ways, but they're all speaking in the same way and lined up in lockstep, preaching the same message that individuals should be guilty and carry guilt and have guilt for who they are and what they're doing to the planet. Great example for today is the straw situation over the last year. Oh my gosh, people in Nebraska should stop using plastic straws because of the turtles. Now, I asked you to put a pin in it. People that are on kind of our side of the world, we have been abused. Great example is Al Gore and climate change. He was selling carbon credits for many, many years. I don't know about today, but historically has been selling carbon credits, making cash profiteering off of the guilt that he goes to world summits in a private jet, makes people feel guilty, and then sells them the solution. And because of that, we throw out the baby with the bathwater. So now everything that has to do with the planet being messed up has got to be garbage because of one man. Does that make sense? They have lied to us to the point where now we can't even talk about microplastics in the ocean without us going, here we go again, more lies. They lie. But we also, those of us that hopefully are informed, we throw it all out. Today, 2022, we do have entire floating continents of plastic. We have microplastics in our fish, and we have less fish than we ever have. Well, Johnny, you sound like one of those hippies. Right there, that thought pattern is us throwing the baby out with the bathwater. The bottom line is we have problems, we need to fix it. What do? 25 years ago, they put guilt at all of us. All of us were made to feel guilty. Today, I refuse to feel guilty. It is okay to be a white man. It is okay to be Christian. It is okay to think differently than the federal government. And I do believe that, and I will not back down on that. Yet, here's the big one. Got a lot of lies that have been thrown at us in recent years. The situation has mostly died down. That was a bad one, but that one's slowly dying down. Today, the biggest lie that we are facing, I believe is going to be one of the nails in the coffin of the Republic, is electric vehicles and this push, this gargantuan global push towards electric vehicles, and it is a complete scam. I love the idea of electric vehicles. I love the idea of being able to travel a long distance for really, really cheap, but the entire thing falls apart. Our grid today and anything that we have, the infrastructure we have built and planned for the next 20 years cannot handle it. 2/3 of all electricity today comes from fossil fuels. You already know that. You're already thinking that. About 2/3, 61, 62%. Somewhere in there, not quite 2/3. Actually, guys, I'm going to say thanks for nothing. It was actually 66. I get it. How about we say this? A lot of it comes from fossil fuels. In my state here, most of it comes from coal gasification. If you're going to move a 2,000-pound vehicle, this is basic physics, from point A to point B, it is inefficient to use electricity. It is a lot more efficient to use exploding fossil fuels, whether it is in gas, maybe electricity that comes from coal gasification, but you have to remember and consider that it comes from coal gasification or exploding propane or those sorts of things, fossil fuels, natural gas. It's inefficient. The other problem that they don't mention is that we rape the earth to get lithium, and those lithium batteries, not just inefficient, but also non-recyclable. So this whole push begins and ends with lithium, and it falls apart. That is really, really incomplete. There is a lot of stuff on the EPA website that I read about today. There's a lot, like they are hitting us back. If you just raise your hand and have a question, well, federal government, maybe non-recyclable. Bam, they have a website that's just going to slap that down, and the media is in full force protecting them. Europe is headed that way really, really, really fast. The average Berlin citizen spends 105 hours a year in a traffic jam. Those batteries cannot handle it. Brownouts all summer long in California, yet they're supposed to be going green. The Super Bowl, I don't have a hard data on it. This is my estimation. About 80% of the commercials on the Super Bowl were all about individual guilt. The planet's falling apart, which in some ways it is. How do we fix it? You need to spend money. I get to this point, and I believe this push is not just big, and it's coming from a lot of different areas, they're coming a lot of different angles. Here's my question for you. Why? Why? I believe it's twofold. I believe on one hand it is about control. Remember, power only comes from one place: government-sanctioned monopolies. When they control all transportation, they control you. Remember, they threatened to cut off our groceries over a non-FDA tested poison pill that we had to give to our children. Now they want us to be 100% reliable on the grid. So on one hand, it is control, but the other hand, and we do know this, the senators, the congressmen, the congresswomen, and all of those nimrods in DC are making a bleeping fortune off of this push. Control and cash. What say you? Let me know right down below. Thanks for being here. See you soon.